Meaning of MIS. In this video, we are going to see about meaning of MIS. The MIS is an idea which is associated with man, machine, marketing, and methods for collecting information from the internal and external source and processing this information for the purpose of facilitating the process of decision making of the business. MIS is not new, only the computerization is new. Before computers, MIS techniques existed to supply managers with the information that would permit them to plan and control business operations. The computer has added on more dimensions such as speed, accuracy, and increased volume of data that permit the consideration of more alternatives in decision-making process. The scope and purpose of MIS is better understood if each part of them is defined individually. Management. Management has been defined in process or activities that describe what managers do in the operation for their organization: plan, organize, initiate, and control operations. They plan by setting strategies and goals and selecting the best course of action to achieve the goals. They organize the necessary tasks for the operational plan, set these tasks up into homogeneous groups, and assign authority delegation. They control the performance standards and avoiding deviation from standard. The decision making is a fundamental prerequisite of each of the foregoing process. The job of MIS is facilitating decisions necessary for planning, organizing, and controlling the work and functions of the business so that specified goals of business are achieved. Information. Data must be distinguished from information, and the distinction is clear and important for present purpose. Data are facts and figures that are not currently being used in a decision-making process and usually are taken from the historical records that are recorded and filled without immediate intent to retrieve for decision-making. Information consists of data that have been retrieved, processed, or otherwise used for information or interference purpose, argument, or as a basis for forecasting or decision-making regarding any business unit. System. The system can be described as a set of elements joined together for a common objective. A subsystem is a part of a larger system with which one is concerned. All systems for our purpose, the organization is the system, and the parts, that is divisions, departments, functions, unit, etc., are the subsystem. The system concept of MIS is therefore one of optimizing the output of the organization by connecting the operating subsystems through the medium of information exchange. The Management Information System MIS has been understood and described in a number of ways. It is also known as the information system, the information and decision system, the computer-based decision system. Information is the lifeblood of an organization, particularly in the case of system approach management. The MIS or information system can be defined as the knowledge communicated by others or obtained from investigation or study. It is a system providing needed information to each manager at the right time in the right form and relevant one, which aids understanding and stimulates the action. MIS is an organized method of providing past, present, and projection information relating to internal operations and external intelligence. It supports the planning, control, and operational functions of an organization by furnishing uniform information in proper time frame to help the process of decision making. Management Information System is generally defined as an integrated user-machine system for providing information to support operations, management, and decision-making functions in an organization. The system utilizes computer hardware and software, manual procedure, models for analysis. Information is viewed as a resource much like land, labor, and capital. It must be obtained, processed, stored, manipulated and analyzed, distributed, etc. An organization with a well-defined information system will generally have a competitive advantage over organizations with poor MIS and no MIS. The MIS has more than one definition, some of which are given below. The MIS is defined as a system which provides information support for decision making in the organization. The MIS is defined as an integrated system of man and machine for providing the information to support the operations, the management, and the decision making function in the organization. The MIS is defined as a system based on the database of the organization, evolved for the purpose of providing information to the people in the organization. The MIS is defined as a computer-based information system. Though there are a number of definitions, all of them converge on a single point, that is, the MIS is a system that supports the decision-making function of the organization. The difference lies in defining the elements of MIS. However, in today's world, the MIS is a computerized business processing system generating information for the people in the organization to meet the information needs for decision making to achieve the corporate objective of the organization. MIS is a computer-based system that provides flexible and speedy access to accurate data. The organizational information system, which in general relates to the planning, operation, and control of an enterprise, are the most important among them. MIS refers primarily to such an organizational system which is generally large, sophisticated, structured, and dynamically evolving, and of immense commercial values. A large number of programmers and system analysts are employed by many organizations to build a variety of MIS. Thus, the education of programmers and system analysts as well as general manager, the subject of MIS has occupied a key position. Thus, MIS is a set of computer-based systems and procedures implemented to help managers in their routine job of decision-making and planning, expansion and development. The objective of MIS is to provide information for a decision support process of management. It should help in such a way that the business goals are achieved in the most efficient manner. Since the decision making is not restricted to a particular level, the MIS is expected to support all the levels of the management in conducting the business operations. Unless the MIS becomes a management aid, it is not useful to the organization. The management process is executed through a variety of decisions taken at each step of planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, and controlling. If the management is able to spell out the decision required to be taken, then the MIS is designed suitably. The actual MIS process relates to collection, organization, distribution, storage of wide information, managerial control and analysis of data. Hence, MIS focuses on organization-wide information, decision-making process, managerial control and analysis, computer-based system. Management information systems is a set of interrelated procedures using information system infrastructure in a business enterprise to generate and disseminate the desired information. Such systems are designed to support decision-making by the people associated with the enterprise in the process of attainment of its objectives. The MIS gets data and other resources of IT infrastructure as inputs from the environment and processes them to satisfy the information needs of different entities associated with a business enterprise. There are subsystems of control over the use of IT resources, and feedback system offers useful clues for increasing the benefits of information system to business. The MIS or subsystem of business system and by themselves serve the function of feedback and control in business system. Role of MIS. In this video, we are going to see about role of MIS. The role of MIS in an organization can be compared to the role of heart in the body. The information is the blood and MIS is the heart. In the body, the heart plays the role of supplying pure blood to all the elements of the body, including the brain. The heart works faster and supplies more blood when needed. It regulates and controls the incoming impure blood, processes it, and sends it to the destination in the quantity needed. It fulfills the needs of blood supply to human body in normal course and also in crisis. The MIS plays exactly the same role in the organization. The system ensures that an appropriate data is collected from the various sources, processed and sent further to all the needy destinations. The system is expected to fulfill the information needs of an individual, a group of individuals, the management functionaries, the managers, and top management. Here are some of the important roles of the MIS. The MIS satisfies the diverse needs through a variety of systems such as query system, analysis system, modeling system, and decision support system. The MIS helps in strategic planning, management control, operational control, and transaction processing. The MIS helps in the clerical personnel in the transaction processing and answers the queries on the data pertaining to the transaction, the status of a particular record, and reference on a variety of documents. The MIS helps the junior management personnel by providing the operational data for planning, scheduling, and control, and helps them further in decision making at the operational level to correct an out of control situation. The MIS helps the middle management in short-term planning, target setting, and controlling the business functions. It is supported by the use of management tools of planning and control. The MIS helps the top-level management in goal setting, strategic planning, and evolving the business plans and their implementation. The MIS plays the role of information generation, communication, problem identification, and helps in the process of decision making. The MIS therefore plays a vital role in the management, administration, and operation of an organization. Impact of the Management Information System. In this video, we are going to see about the impact of the Management Information System. MIS plays a very important role in the organization. It creates an impact on the organization's functions, performance, and productivity. The impact of MIS on the functions is in its management. With a good MIS supports the management of marketing, finance, production, and personnel becomes more efficient. The tracking and monitoring of the functional targets becomes easy. The functional managers are informed about the progress, achievements, and shortfalls in the activity and the targets. The manager is kept alert by providing certain information indicating and probable trends in the various aspects of business. This helps in forecasting and long-term perspective planning. The manager's attention is brought to a situation which is expected in nature, inducing him to take an action or a decision in the matter. Discipline Information Reporting System creates structured database and a knowledge base for all the people in the organization. The information is available in such a form that it can be used straight away by blending and analysis, saving the manager's valuable time. The MIS creates another impact in the organization which relates to the understanding of the business itself. The MIS begins with the definition of data, entity, and its attributes. It uses a dictionary of data, entity, and attributes respectively designed for information generation in the organization. Since all the information systems use the dictionary, there is a common understanding of terms and terminology in the organization, bringing clarity in the communication and a similar understanding of an event in the organization. The MIS calls for a systemization of the business operations for an effective system design. This leads to streaming of the operations, which complicates the system design. It improves the administration of the business by bringing a discipline in its operations, as everybody is required to follow and use systems and procedures. This process brings a high degree of professionalism in the business operations. The goals and objectives of the MIS are the products of business goals and objectives. It helps indirectly to pull the entire organization in one direction towards the corporate goals and objectives by providing the relevant information to the organization. A well-designed system with a focus on the manager makes an impact on the managerial efficiency. The fund of information motivates an enlightened manager to use a variety of tools of the management. It helps him to resort to such exercises as experimentation and modeling. The use of computers enables him to use the tools and techniques which are impossible to use manually. The ready-made packages make this task simple. The impact is on the managerial ability to perform. It improves decision-making ability considerably high. Since the MIS work on the basic systems such as transaction processing and database, the drudgery of the clerical work is transferred to the computerized system, relieving the human mind for better work. It will be observed that a lot of manpower is engaged in this activity in the organization. 70% of the time is spent in recording, searching, processing, and communicating. The MIS has a direct impact on this overhead. It creates information-based working culture in the organization. Importance of MIS. In this video, we are going to see about importance of MIS. All managerial functions are performed through decision making. For taking rational decision, timely and reliable information is essential and is procured through a logical and well-structured method of information collecting, processing, and disseminating to decision makers. Such a method in the field of management is widely known as MIS. In today's world of ever-increasing complexities of business as well as business organization, in order to service and grow, must have a properly planned, analyzed, designed, and maintained MIS. So that it provides timely, reliable, and useful information to enable the management to take speedy and rational decisions. MIS has assumed all the more important role in today's environment because a manager has to take decisions under two main challenges. First, because of the liberalization and globalization in which organizations are required to compete not locally but globally, a manager has to take quick decisions, otherwise his business will be taken away by his competitors. This has further enhanced the necessity for such a system. Second, in this information age wherein the information is doubling up every 2 or 3 years, a manager has to process a large voluminous data, failing which he may end up taking a strong decision that may prove to be very costly to the company. In such a situation, managers must be equipped with some tools or a system which can assist them in their challenging role of decision making. It is because of the above cited reasons that today MIS is considered to be of permanent importance, sometimes regarded as the name center of an organization. Such systems assist decision makers in organizations by providing information at various stages of decision making and thus greatly help the organizations to achieve their predetermined goals and objectives. On the other hand, the MIS which is not adequately planned for, analyzed, designed, implemented, or is poorly maintained may provide developed, inaccurate, irrelevant, or obsolete information which may prove fatal for the organization. It has been very well understood that MIS enables even small organizations to more than offset the economies of scale enjoyed by their bigger competitors and thus helps in providing a competitive edge over other organizations. Systems approach to MIS. In this video, we are going to see about systems approach to MIS. The information system follows a systems approach. Systems approach means taking a comprehensive view or a complete look at the interlocking subsystems that operate within an organization. System approach is based on the generalization that everything is interrelated and interdependent. A system is composed of related and dependent elements which, when in interaction, forms a unitary whole. A system is simply an assemblage or combination of things or parts forming a complex whole. One of its most important characteristics is that it is composed of hierarchy of subsystems, that is, the parts are forming the major system and so on. For example, the world can be considered to be a system in which various national economies are subsystems. In turn, each national economy is composed of its various industries. Each industry is composed of firms, and of course, a firm can be considered a system composed of subsystems such as production, marketing, finance, accounting, and so on. Systems approach to management. In this video, we are going to see about systems approach to management. It is a collection of interrelated parts acting together to achieve some goal which exists in the environment. Also, system is defined as a set of objects working together with relationships between the objects and their attributes related to each other and to the environment. Therefore, system in simple terms in respect to management, it is a set of different parts working together in interrelated manner to accomplish a set of objectives. Organization as a system receives input, transforms it through a process for output, and operates in an environment, economic, regulatory, and other forces. Elements of system approach. An organization is a unified and purposeful system consisting of several interconnected, interacting, and independent parts. The parts of a system are called subsystems. Each subsystem influences the other subsystems and the system as a whole. The position and function of each subsystem can be analyzed and understood only in relation to other subsystems and to organization as a whole. Each subsystem derives its strength by its association and interaction with the other subsystems. As a result, collective contribution of the organization is greater than the aggregate of individual contributions of its subsystems. This is known as synergy. Each system has a boundary that separates it from its environment. The boundary determines which parts are internal to the organization and which are external. For example, employees are within the boundary and creditors, customers are external to a firm. The reaction or response of the environment to the output is known as feedback. Feedback is useful in evaluating and improving the functioning of the system. Organizations operate on the principle that they have several alternative ways of doing the same thing or achieving the same goal. Classification of systems. Open systems, closed system, open systems. An open system actively interacts with its environment. By interacting with systems, it tries to establish exchange relationships. Closed system. A closed system is self-contained and isolated from the environment. It is a non-adaptive system. It does not receive inputs often from other systems and does not trade with the outside world. Example, an automatic wristwatch. Evaluation of system approach. The systems approach assists in studying the functions of complex organizations and has been utilized as a base for the new kinds of organizations like project management organization. It is possible to bring out the interrelations in various functions like planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. This approach has an edge over the other approaches because it is very close to reality. This approach is called abstract and vague. It cannot be easily applied to large and complex organizations. Moreover, it does not provide any tool and technique for managers. Approaches to MIS. In this video, we are going to see about approaches to MIS. When an information system is being developed, much importance should be given to the structure of the organization, culture of the organization, etc. But along with these, a special attention should be given to the technical side of MIS. The various contemporary approaches to MIS development can be summarized as technical approach, behavioral approach, socio-technical approach, Porter-Miller postulates. Technical approach. Based on the mathematical and the normative models, physical technology forms the backbone of such an approach. Such an approach mainly finds much needed contributions from the disciplines like computer science, management science, operations research, etc. Behavioral approach. Based on the impact of the behavior and also on the response of the people in the organization. Motivational feasibility forms a very important and demanding part of such an approach towards MIS development. Socio-technical approach. In the beginning, this approach was finding it hard to survive, but now it is being accepted worldwide and is also being implemented at a very large scale. Involves key involvement of both of the above explained approaches. Improves the performance of the information system as a whole. Porter-Miller postulates. Porter and Miller were the ones who explained the effect of the information technology on the competition. According to them, information technology is affecting competition in the following ways. Causes changes in the structure of the industry, and as a result of this, rule of competitions are altered. Spawning of the whole new business takes place, and in much of the cases, it is caused from within the company's existing operations. Competitive advantage is created usually because of the new ways the companies get to outperform their rivals. Types of information systems. In this video, we are going to see about types of information systems. Given the complexity of information processing and the varying degrees or levels into which data and processes can be structured, depending on the problem or issues, several categories of information systems are required to deal with all the organization's information needs. Different types of information systems must be developed to meet the whole gamut of information needs in a company. Systems for processing transactions, management information systems, and decision support systems. The various information system categories remain coherent through their integration in common data architecture. Transaction Processing System (TPS). In this video, we are going to see about Transaction Processing System (TPS). Transaction processing systems are the cornerstones of a company's information system and compile their daily business operations. Many companies cannot operate without this type of system. As operations are carried out in the company, transaction processing systems gather, process, and store data and reflect business transactions such as sales, purchases, payments, etc. Transaction processing systems are the most defined or structured information processes in the organization, automating the central core of its operations. Their purpose is to improve the company's routine activities. The most common transactions include invoicing, payrolls, production, and reception of orders. Companies aim to carry out these activities quickly, systematically, and efficiently. All these activities are carried out at the operative level in any organization and have similar common characteristics. These operations are repeated many times in companies. The way these transactions are carried out is very similar in all companies. The activities can be separated into well-understood stages, procedures. The large volume of transactions at an organization's operational level leads many companies to try and develop more efficient and effective ways of processing the data generated through this type of activity. Transaction processing systems are faster and more accurate than the manual procedures used to perform the same routine activities. A transaction processing system replaces manual procedures with computer-based procedures to perform well-structured routine tasks. Transaction processing system output may take the form of transaction documents or database queries. Transaction documents. Many transaction processing systems produce transaction documents such as invoices, purchase orders, or payroll lists. These documents may be classified as action documents or information documents. Action documents. Action documents imply that some kind of action is taken. For example, an airline ticket guarantees that a seat on an aeroplane is reserved, or bank has to pay out money when a check is presented. Information documents. Information documents confirm that a transaction has taken place or informs about one or various transactions. For example, a bank transfer slip with details of the transfer or a breakdown of credit card payments that accompanies the credit card bill. Database queries. A wide variety of information can be extracted from a database using a database management system and user-oriented fourth-generation languages. These queries can provide lists of all transactions processed during a specific time period or error reports with a list of erroneously processed transactions. Management Information System (MIS). In this video, we are going to see about Management Information System (MIS). These can be defined as information systems that provide information for users with similar needs. The main purpose of management information systems is to provide managers with the information they need to take decisions and solve problems. Management information systems are supported by corporate databases, which include data generated by transaction processing. Every organization has to take decisions on many issues that arise on a regular basis, whether weekly, monthly, or quarterly, for which certain information is required. One example is the monthly breakdown of sales figures on a client-by-client basis. Because the decision-making processes are clearly defined, the information needed to take decisions can easily be identified. An administrative information system can therefore prepare regular reports on which to base these decisions. These reports are prepared and presented in a previously designed format. Thus, these systems provide support for structured decisions, since administrators know beforehand which factors should be taken into account in the decision-making process, and the management information system provides clearly structured reports with all the necessary information to take these structured decisions. The content of these reports can be enhanced by including the concept of the management by exception. In this case, the information processor compares real performance with previously established standards, and when performance falls outside acceptable limits, the manager's attention is drawn to the fact. Management by exception can be incorporated into management information system reports in 4 ways. By preparing a report only when exceptions occur, by using the report sequence function to highlight exceptions. The report's entries can be arranged in ascending or descending order according to one or more key areas, such that entries requiring greater attention appear at the top of the list. For example, a sales report could be arranged in descending order of sales for each client during a specific time period. Clients purchasing the largest volumes would therefore appear first. Another example would be sales volumes per item, in which an ascending order would place the products with the lowest sales volume in a given period at the top of the list, thereby alerting the user to least successful items. By grouping exceptions together. In this case, the reports are prepared so the user can find exceptions in certain areas according to a particular criterion. For example, the report could present clients' outstanding invoices in columns arranged by due date, either within 1 month, over 30 days, over 60 days, or over 90 days. This makes it easier for managers to identify outstanding invoices for specific periods in a single column. By showing deviation from the norm. Results of actions are compared with forecast actions, and any difference is presented as a deviation. In the 1960s, attempts were made to develop an information system that would automatically meet all the company's information needs by means of an administrative information system known as the MIS, Management Information System. The MIS represented a formal commitment by executives to make IT available to all managers. The idea of the MIS was to maintain a continuous flow of information to managers. MIS illustrates the relationship between the MIS, the company's management, and the environment in which it operates. The environment is represented at the top of the figure. The central section represents the company's management and the company's various subsystems, and MIS appears in the bottom section. Information and data flow from the environment to company management and to the MIS. In addition, management sends information and data to the MIS, that is MIS inputs, which are processed by information processors specially designed to provide output in the form of documents and reports to management groups at strategic, tactical, and operational levels, as well as to the environment. The database contains data from the accounts information system and also incorporates data from the environment. Managers define the company's objective and set targets, plans, and standards, center of figure. These plans and standards provide another type of input to the MIS, establishing the basis on which control and feedback can operate. The software uses the database to produce its regular reports. The MIS output should be relevant information sent in the right way to the right person at the right moment. This information must be carefully selected to help the decision-making processes at strategic, technical, and operational levels management. This output is used by those responsible for resolving the company's problems. This information is normally compiled in strategic level reports to provide managers with the information they need to plan activities such as defining and reviewing the company's objectives, setting long-term targets more than 3 years, and establishing company policies. Tactical and status situation reports to enable management to draw up new or revised short-term plans from 1 to 3 years on a continual basis and to perform their planning and control functions efficiently so that the subsystems can be properly coordinated. Operational reports with daily information to keep managers fully informed of the company's current situation, thus enabling them to carry out their control functions. In addition, much of the information the company sends to the environment is provided by the MIS in the form of invoices to clients and salary and tax payments. Because the MIS holds an information system structured in accordance with certain previously determined decisions, it cannot be used to make decisions when an unexpected problem arises. The idea behind the MIS is to help interpret the information needed to take previously defined decisions, and particularly at the strategic level, information needs are not easily identified. Given the limitations of an information system like the MIS in supporting non-programmed decisions, information system designers needed to look at the problem from a completely different angle. Rather than being structured from the perspective of the person who interprets predetermined information needs, the information system should be conceived to give the greatest possible flexibility to the decision maker. In this way, instead of previously establishing what type of decisions are to be taken, information should be arranged according to its origin and type based on decision maker's general knowledge, so the necessary information is available to them when they have to take a decision. The design of a company's database is therefore crucial. It must enable information to be used rationally and must allow the information system to be properly integrated. The company database must be flexible enough to be structured according to the particular needs of different decision makers. This reveals a need for more interactive systems that help the decision maker to take non-structured or only slightly structured decisions. Decision Support Systems (DSS). In this video, we are going to see about Decision Support Systems (DSS). Decision support systems provide a tool to deal with less precisely structured or defined problems that arise sporadically. DSS help managers who have to take non-structured decisions. A decision is understood to be non-structured if there are no clear procedures in place to take the decision, and it is not possible to identify beforehand all the factors that need to be considered in the decision. It must be said that all information systems support decision making, even if only indirectly. DSS have been expressly developed to support the decision-making process. These systems facilitate dialogue with the user when he is considering alternative solutions to a problem, and the system provides database access and models constructed to present information. Decision support systems are interactive and aim to expand human reasoning capacity to resolve specific non-structured decision-making problems. This type of system focuses on the decision-making processes and must provide relevant facts relating to the decision easily, quickly, and accurately. It must also offer interactive access to processing media that can be used creatively and that allow the user to explore a range of alternatives and provide the information necessary to respond to the problem. The system will have a model that combines various factors such as product price, the cost of materials, advertising costs, all of which affect profit forecasts for product sales over a 5-year period. By varying the price of the product in the model, the manager can compare forecast results and select a price accordingly. Unlike administrative information systems, decision support systems can help to make decisions for which a procedure cannot be fully programmed in a computer. To this end, some of the dependent relations between factors and their consequences are shown by computer models, and value judgments are introduced when the manager interacts with the system. Spreadsheets, which can help to manage data by representing them in columns and rows in a table, are frequently used to construct simple decision support systems. The main purpose of decision support systems is to help the decision maker in the decision-making process. Unlike transaction processing systems and administrative information systems, DSS are not structured or formalized since they are generally used for ad hoc processes and therefore they need to be flexible and adaptable. The key aspect of a DSS is that it supports decision-making in situations where computer data processing capacity is needed in conjunction with the criteria or rationale of the decision-maker. The main emphasis of DSS lies in its support function and not the automation of decisions. The computer's task is to provide access to data and offer the chance to test the alternative solutions, but it must not replace the manager's criteria. A DSS uses data from the organization's transaction processing system and administrative information system as well as data from external sources. In fact, the data required to generate information can come from a range of sources, not only the database as in the case of the transaction processing system and the administrative information system. Moreover, a DSS can store and later reprocess previously obtained data. The user interacts with the system by making requests, creating or modifying models to adapt them to variations and to help understand the problem, managing data and designing the format and contents of report, which may include text, structured information or figures. In well-structured situations, this information can be identified beforehand, but this becomes complicated in non-structured environments. Decision support systems must therefore be flexible than transaction processing systems or administrative information systems. The manager's own criteria therefore play an important role in taking decisions on non-structured problems. While DSS help managers, they are no substitute for the manager's own criteria. One example of a non-structured decision is the decision banks had to take over whether or not to install ATMS. They had to calculate the cost of both manual and automatic services, the degree of customer acceptance, their competitors' response, etc. Problem resolution with DSS. DSS are interactive information systems that help the decision maker deal with fairly unstructured problems by offering analytical models and access to databases. Personal DSS should be easy to use. The tools should be oriented to the final user for this purpose. On the other hand, an organization's DSS used widely by different members of a company should be the result of a well-planned process. Within its area of application, a DSS should offer the user a way to apply models and databases interactively that enhances the support it gives to deal with a problem the user faces. The way people in an organization tackle a problem will vary according to how structured the problem is. In other words, it will depend on the extent to which predefined procedures are in place to take decisions on the matter in hand. Principally, DSS helps to take decisions on semi-structured problems where some phases in the decision process often require considerable computer support. This is because a model which can contain hundreds of relationships is applied to a database that frequently contains a large amount of data. The decision maker intervenes in the selection of this data. DSS can also be used to take decisions on non-structured problems. The main tasks facing manager involve a high level of ambiguity. In other words, they generally have to deal with non-structured or semi-structured problems. Possibilities of decision support systems. A model is a representation of something designed for a specific purpose. It is usually an abstraction or a simplification of a phenomenon. A model is constructed by adopting a series of suppositions or assuming a series of premises about the dependence between variables. Various alternatives can then be analyzed by changing some variables and seeing what would happen if the premises were modified and then comparing the results. What would happen if? Using a spreadsheet as a decision-making support system. The spreadsheet program is widely used in the work environment and is now the standard software used to manage information in the business world. Despite this widespread use, we believe that a low percentage of users take full advantage of the spreadsheet's potential. The spreadsheet could be better exploited by applying the logic used to construct models for the different scenarios. In many cases, poor use of the spreadsheet leads to considerable loss of time, and on occasions, the program cannot be used to carry out some types of analysis. The purpose of the spreadsheet is not to perform complicated mathematical operations. A calculator is sufficient for that. The spreadsheet can also help achieve greater productivity when it is used to perform regular repetitive operations. The spreadsheet also includes logical functions and search functions that allow the user to delegate more mechanical decisions to the computer, such as, for example, if this value is lower than that one, then multiply by x. Hence, when we are about to start a task with a spreadsheet, we can have two aims. To construct a model for decision-making support, in which case our target should be to achieve maximum possible flexibility. To mechanize a repetitive process that we have to do on a regular basis, repeating the same calculations, which should aim to be both convenient and secure. using a DSS in the decision-making process. The decision-making process has 4 stages. During the first stage, known as the intelligence stage, the environment is explored in order to find or define the problem. During the second stage, the design stage, various alternatives are drawn up for comparison during the selection stage. The solution is then applied and improved where necessary. Spreadsheets are usually used to construct simple decision-making models. Executive Information Systems (EIS). In this video, we are going to see about Executive Information Systems (EIS). DSS mainly support planning tasks, whereas the essential feature of the powerful EIS tool is their support for control activities. An executive who uses an EIS has a greater capacity to analyze all aspects of the company's operations and to seek out problems and opportunities. Since companies timidly began to adopt information technologies (IT), there has been a growing conviction that IT information technologies cannot easily be applied to managerial tasks. The more complex and ambiguous the activity is, the less useful computer-based tools prove to be. This conviction can easily be verified in the real business context. Computers are now widely used by administrative staff and increasingly by middle management. A top-level executive's daily routine is inevitably assumed to be a round of meetings, telephone calls, conferences, conversations, business lunches, etc. Research shows that the executive's activity is more oriented to verbal communication, and highly analytical reports and documents are relatively unimportant. However, there is a widespread interest in linking up high-level management with computer tools. The evolution of information systems. Since its beginnings, IT has clearly been conceived as a source of solutions for business management. The stages described below show the path of its development. First to appear were the Transaction Processing Systems (TPS), which replaced manual procedures for clearly structured routine tasks with faster and more accurate computer-based procedures. Some of the most common transactions now performed by TPS are invoicing, accounting, and payroll management. At the end of the 70s, the concept of the MIS, Management Information Systems, attempted to meet all the company's information needs at the strategic, tactical, and operational levels, structured according to specific predefined decisions. However, in practice, these systems have not been useful to top-level managers because they generally have to deal with a new situation that require non-structured decisions for which information needs are not previously established. For this reason, MIS are particularly suitable to cover the information needs of lower-level managers. Once it had become clear that comprehensive strategic information system models were not viable, decision support systems (DSS) were introduced. These provided solutions for particular decision-making contexts and in the end have proved to be more suitable for certain company staff areas. The idea of providing regular and relevant information to high-level managers has attracted the attention of information system researchers since it was first introduced onto organizations. Different types of computerized information systems have pursued this ambitious goal. Both MIS and DSS were first offered as systems to fulfill these needs. However, many researchers have found that both MIS and DSS, while useful for other levels in the firm's hierarchy, fail to satisfy the information needs of top-level management. It is in this context that Executive Information Systems (EIS) appeared as the next candidate to provide top-level managers with the information they need. These systems have been designed to offer reliable information to executives about key indicators of the workings and operations of their organizations. Executive Information Systems (EIS) concept and characteristics. Capacity to access and manage information. Presentation of information. Orientation to critical success factors (CSF). Capacity for communication and time organization. Ease of use. Access to information. Personalized analysis. Executive Information Systems (EIS) concept and characteristics. An EIS can be understood as a computer-based information system designed specifically for use by top-level company managers, providing internal and external information that they can use as a support in performing their work. Although definitions of EIS vary, there is a general consensus on the characteristics they all share, which we now detail below. Capacity to access and manage information. EIS must gather the internal and external information that is relevant to the executive and must therefore be able to access and manage information from a range of sources and in different formats and handle quantitative and qualitative, structured and non-structured information. An EIS provides direct access to information without the need for intermediaries. Presentation of information. The information must be presented to the user in a meaningful and manageable way, which involves combining data from different sources in the same report or on the same screen and filtering and condensing a wide range of information. As well as its capacity to aggregate information, an EIS must also allow the executive to explore more deeply and obtain additional, more detailed information on a specific aspect if he or she considers it necessary. The presentation of information must be adapted to the user's personal preferences, for example, by offering choices on how the system can alert the executive to deviations in any variable. Orientation to critical success factors (CSF). The EIS must provide information on key business variables and must be flexible enough to adapt to possible changes occurring in the business, guaranteeing that the system remains oriented to critical success factors. For this reason, the design of the EIS must allow for constant evolution. The EIS must be able to accurately determine the user's information needs in order for it to have the right orientation. To a large extent, its success or failure depends on this capacity. Capacity for communication and time organization. An EIS must also act as a support for communication through electronic mail and in organizing the executive's work in the diary or calendar that usually comes with the system. Ease of use. These systems must match the user's profile, in this case people who do not usually have any IT training and moreover do not have the time to acquire it. This means that they must be easy to use and allow direct, intuitive access to their features. The EIS learning curve should be no longer than a few minutes. EIS are one of the most promising tools that technology has made available to companies. They allow an executive to understand and analyze the forces acting in the company and in the market without moving from his or her own desk. Executives use EIS in two completely different ways: to access information on the current situation and on foreseeable business trends, to perform personalized analysis of available data, access to information. When executives have read-only access to the latest data or reports on the situation of key variables, they can examine the information but do little or perhaps nothing in terms of processing the data. This type of access may be widely used in sectors where market conditions change quickly, where executives have to keep up with a lot of reports, or where hour-by-hour monitoring of operations is important. Personalized analysis. Naturally, executives can use the computer not only to gain exclusive access to information, but also as an analysis tool. The type of analysis will vary from one executive to another. Some will simply calculate new ratios or extrapolate current trends for application to future scenarios. Others will highlight trends of particular interest on figures or graphs to gain an additional visual perspective. Some work with simulated models to determine where capital investment will be productive. For this method to be efficient, executives will inevitably spend a lot of their own time and effort in defining the data they need and learning what the computer can do. Users will need at least some initial training and assistance with the computer languages involved. MIS for accounting and finance function. In this video, we are going to see about MIS for accounting and finance function. The primary objective of a financial information system is to meet the financial needs of the business. It requires working capital management, long-term fund management with a goal of minimum cost of capital. The second objective is to meet statutory compliance like the audited result declaration, obligation to government, tax authorities, banks, and shareholders. Financial management includes the accounting system of the day-to-day functions. The financial budget is prepared in the beginning of the financial year. The financial department receives input from the following areas: accounting information, invoice, voucher, journal entry, audit tax subsystem, sales tax, excise, income tax, financial analysis data, EVA, ROI, stock market data, EPS. Several inputs come from stores, marketing, and personnel department. These inputs generate the following outputs: forecasting subsystem, sales forecast, expenses, capital expenditure, etc. Fund management subsystem, source and uses of funds, cash flow analysis, long-term fund management. Control subsystem, budget, performance ratio, etc. Output subsystems MIS. Operational level, decision or control level, operational level, statutory returns and reports, ledger, trial balance, balance sheet, etc. Registers, sales tax, excise, stock reports, accounts receivable and payable, bank and cash statements, aging reports, decision or control level, return on investments, cash flow analysis, break-even analysis, economic value addition analysis, ratio analysis, stock market information. MIS for marketing system. In this video, we are going to see about MIS for marketing system. Marketing management functions deal with customers. In marketing, the input comes through the following subsystems: counting, data entry, sales, payments, invoices, delivery notes. Market research data, industrial production, industrial survey. Market intelligence data, competitors' information. The reports are generated from those input data. The company may have a relational database system. Data may be stored in different places for the generation of the reports. The output subsystem consists of the followings: product subsystem, sales value, customer, inventory. Place subsystem, zone, area, market segment. Promotion subsystem, dealer, commission. Product mix subsystem, product family. Distribution subsystem, distributor, dealer. Accounting subsystem, receivables, excise duty, tax. The inputs on the left side of figure generate reports under the subsystems on the right side of the figure. For example, the inputs for the product subsystem come from accounting data entry. The reports are used for decision making. The reports that can be generated are as follows: operational level, decision or control level, operational level, product sales ledger, accounting receivables, aging reports, market and competition analysis, complaints of the customers, inventory reports, decision or control level, sales versus sales forecast, expenses versus projected expenses, market share, competitors' information. A substantial cost saving is possible through electronic commerce. Internet links to dealers and distributors help in delivering the products to the consumer at reduced cost. Electronic commerce has generated a lot of new developments in the area of distribution of products. Companies are connected with suppliers with the help of internet. The supplier receives orders through the internet and updates his stock position. The company receives all the information relating to the supplier through the internet. Such communication helps to reduce the cost of manufacturing. Another new kind of area is also emerging. In this case, several manufacturers jointly order raw materials through websites. A supplier who is registered with a site can supply the material. Manufacturers can thus exploit their full capacity and lower their costs. Following is the list of functions in the area of marketing management that can be considered under MIS. Demand planning, understanding the customer requirement, order execution, accurate demand plans, capacity planning, optimal capacity usage, materials planning, supply alignment, purchasing, lowest total cost.